Guys, I'm excited. The Bandit is back. The Bandit has made a return. Come here, let's talk about it. So we got our Bandit here. We're gonna be speed running it. So we got our Monster X ESC. We got our batteries stacked here. We have a 2S here and a 4S down on the bottom. I don't know if you can see it, but they are both Gen A's. They're both Redline. They're both 66,000-ish, something like that. But they're both identical in terms of all the other specs, but the voltages are different, but the cells within are the same, so you can stack them for 6S. And this configuration makes it easier to put the body on. Come back here and we'll talk more about it. So we got some weights here. I added that. That's new. It's actually got the Slash 2-wheel drive bumper on it, specifically for the extra space to run these weights. Sticky tape with Velcro just for some extra support. Got the aluminum bits here, the GTRs. The fun party trick here is the real stiff springs. These are option springs for an X01. Anyway, move on to the back. We got our crazy wicked wheelie bar. The stock wheels completely broke off at speed, and they actually kind of ate through the bottom of the wheelie bar. These are X-Max wheelie bar wheels that I just kind of made it work in the meantime. I'm gonna have to figure out a more robust solution. And you can see the wicked gearing there. I want to say that is 20, 29, 24, 29, something like that. Something crazy wicked high. And the motor, we got a 2400 kV Castle. This is the 14 series. And we're gonna be chasing 110 miles an hour with this. So let's get this thing powered on. Got everything plugged in. Made sure that everything is in the right polarity so we don't burn anything up. Notice we got our 8.4 volts on the radio and the 8.0 or 7.8 BEC for maximum range. And we got the ladder to stand on so that we have increased visibility and range. Let's cap this thing off. It only just barely fits, and the wires have to sit a very specific way. Otherwise, the body doesn't fit over it. So everything is very, very specifically placed so that everything flips up. Cool. So track, start, and let's see what it does. Choppy, choppy. That was not full throttle, not even close. Just getting a feel for it. I need more right on my steering trims. That was me holding full throttle for ever. But it was super choppy. The tires were bouncing. I'm sure you could hear that. First time driving this particular car in a long time. So,
any guesses?
I mean, I'll be happy if it's over 100. Do we get a good view? 86. A lot of room to be improved. I suspect these tires are just not gripping. Yeah, because you can see if you look real close on the tires, it's got a really nice wear spot there, but not here, right? So I'll let it cool down, throw on a different set of wheels. I brought spare wheels, and we'll go from there. Honestly though, the lights are really useful when it comes to speed running. If this power cuts or gets choppy, I might downsize the pinion gear. I don't know if you can see it, but all the way, oh, way over to the right, I see wild turkeys. Easy on throttle. Full throttle. I think those batteries are struggling to keep up. Those batteries are very tired. I normally expect a lot more motor RPM.
You can see the light.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The light is super, super handy. It's great for speed running. I am absolutely going to put lights on the Infraction. This is...
You should just do it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do it. Poke holes in the body or something, make it so it doesn't hurt the aerodynamics at all. That was full throttle for what felt like an eternity. Let me take a look at the tires themselves. I didn't hear the chopping, did you, from the last time? So I think these tires are holding up. Consistent wear.
I don't see anything wrong with them.
Yeah, they look like they're wearing evenly. If a belt was torn or they were imbalanced, you would see one spot like super bald. But I think this is okay. I think this is okay. We didn't check temps on the first two passes. Let's check temps now. Motor, 98, 92, that's nothing. Yeah, that's nothing. I can still see the speed control in there. Speed control, 83. Yeah, it's not even triggering the fans. This thing obviously isn't working that hard, but the motor isn't spinning that fast. So Anyway, stop, read. 85, it's better. This thing has gone 100 before, so let's downsize. Can I downsize? You know what? I might have to go up on the spur gear because the motor is all the way over. This would be a great time to talk about my gearing setup on this car. It's a little bit wonky. It's got a slipper delete system. So it's just direct drive with no slip. And how it works is using a 8mm bore pinion gear. Take the slipper completely off, pin included, and then you just put your gear on there, and then you line up the grub screw with the hole on the top shaft, crank it down real good, and then you just fill the space with some sort of something, because the threads will bottom out, right? Absolute must, by the way. Get yourself a solid 3/8 with a 17 on it, especially if you're working with 8-scale wheels a bunch. Super, super handy. So you basically just take off the nut that would hold the spring for your slipper, and then you take your 2.0, undo the grub screws. Depending on your gear, you might have 2 grubs, and this gear actually has 2 grubs. And it just slides out. And all you do is you line up your grub screw with the hole where your pin would go. And there would be enough meat on your gear to grip that with enough strength so that you can put fat, huge power into it and not worry about like damaging the top shaft, which is super, super nice. So this particular gear actually has a reducer. This is a 5mm diameter, so you could use a 5mm diameter bore. I got a real long grub screw and I filed it to a point so that it grips the hole in the top shaft better. Yes, but either way, well, let's see if we gain any speed. What was that, 87 miles an hour?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
That is so much faster.
It's so much faster. I love it. And of course, you don't want to, pound it all the way to heaven and back. You just want it to be, tight enough as you normally would. So, get that GPS going again. That was full throttle. Like I was at full throttle.
Full throttle.
I was at full throttle before it passed us.
It's going slow.
I mean, it's still obscenely fast for a Bandit. At the end of the day, more than 70 is wicked fast for these cars. All right, what do we got? Does that say 78?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we lost speed. So the gearing must not be the problem. The motor can keep up. I am, at this point, it's either got to be something physical, like maybe something about the wheelie bar or the weights.
Not the battery?
Or the battery. It has
Might
to,
be the
it's either
battery.
that or the battery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we gain speed by gearing down, then we know the motor is overwhelmed because it can't keep up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's check temps real quick. Oh, right, tape.
Duh.
Batteries at 90, plugs 94. Batteries aren't very warm, but they don't have to be warm to be tired.
Yeah.
83, ESC, 76, 77. Oh, fun fact. The little hole that I cut here in the body goes right over the fan.
Nice.
Keeps it nice and cool. Like, oh, that's nothing. Motor, 87, 89. Yeah, this is barely even trying. It has to be the batteries.
I think it's the battery.
Yeah, these batteries are just tired. But, I mean, it sucks though, because where else am I going to find a 6S battery configuration from someone like SMC or like CNHL or whoever that will have this sort of configuration where I can stack them like that? You know what I mean? I don't think we're going to find such a battery that isn't like, because these are buggy racing batteries. This would normally go in like a 10 scale carpet buggy, right? And the one under it would be like a 8 scale buggy racing battery you would see in like any Associated or whatever.
Batteries?
Where do you get them?
Yeah.
You can get them anywhere. You can get these batteries in the
Why
car.
are you saying like where am I gonna find a battery?
Well, because the batteries that you would expect to see in a speedrun car aren't configured like this.
Well, then just get those batteries again.
Yeah, well, we'll have to try that. These batteries may very well just be tired because I've had them for so long. Might not be a bad idea to try again with a fresh set of these. But it's awfully loud, but it works. No real changes to this car since the last time we've seen it. I just haven't had a chance to really drive it because it's been so hot and I've been so busy with other stuff. But we're starting to get into cooler weather. Right now it's about 80 degrees. It is also about noon, so it's not gonna get much warmer than this today, which is good, finally. And of course we add the tape to keep air from getting in.
We've learned that.
If anybody who's driven a Slash knows exactly that. Also is true with these cars. All right. Oh boy. Okay. This one scares me. Oh, that's right. I set up dual rate on the steering. All right, here we go. Something's happening. I gotta bring it in.
I was like, that is not full throttle.
It was full throttle on the trigger, but it wasn't behaving. I was hearing this weird grinding noise. So let me bring it back. I can hear a beep code right now.
It's probably the that sensor wire.
No, it's a different beep code.
Oh. Oh, never heard that one.
Well, you got to keep in mind there's 2 ESCs and they're going to try and beep codes at different times.
Gotcha.
In which case we got to take the body off and look at the light on the ESC to determine the actual beep codes. Because with 2 ESCs giving a warning at different times, it's going to sound like a fucking hospital with all the equipment making all the noise, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
Can we at least see how fast you went?
Yeah, of course. That was 80. Nothing spectacular for sure. Getting 2 motors to play nice is kind of magic in itself. Let's check our temps here. For reference, ground temp is 75. Pavement's 82, so it's not very hot right now. Motor 100, 96, 100. Look at the other motor. Same, 95, 97. Oh, I saw 115 on there with the ESC. 90.
So what does
batteries.
it mean?
Oh, hold on, I'm just checking temps to make sure they're more or less the same. Yeah, batteries are about 80. ESC over here, 78. All right, so let me take a look at the lights. They're both giving the same error code, just different meanings. It's giving the over amp warning. I might have to gear down, and we can do that because I brought my gears. 34, 39 right now, so the ratio is a little bit on the high side. Anyway, let's let these cool off. Oh, you know what? I know what happened. This grub screw came loose because it's not lined up with the flat spot on the pinion.
So maybe if we tighten it up, we can try it again?
Maybe, because I suspect that what happened is that's where I was hearing that noise from.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to figure out how to get that pinion off. There it goes. Yeah, you see how, I don't know if you can zoom in on that, but it scored the shaft a little bit underneath my finger because the grub screw didn't stay tight. So I'm wondering if maybe because they got out of phase, they threw that warning. So we're going to line up the gears again, tighten the grub screws again, and give it another run. Yeah, this body has seen multiple 100+ crashes.
Flips.
Flips, all sorts of things. Although thankfully I haven't had anything super catastrophic like, you know, face first into a curb at 100. That's never happened. Knock on wood. That's part of the reason why it shows this place, because there's no curb. If you hit anything, you're going to be hitting like a
light pole.
Well, not even, well.
An antenna pole.
You know, that almost happened the last time we drove this.
Yeah, and that's not good.
Yeah, that kind of scared me.
We don't want to be the cause of people losing electricity or
at the very least, I don't want to destroy my car.
You're more worried about your damn car than people
Wes. No, I don't think this car could actually take out one of those poles.
Let's test the theory.
Let's not.
I'm kidding.
This thing's rolling around with $400 worth of carbon fiber and like $300 worth of batteries that could go up at any moment if you crashed.
How about a crash that doesn't do that?
Yeah, I agree. As far as I'm concerned, the body is sacrificial, and as long as that and maybe wheels are the only thing that get damaged, I think we're good.
Let's
All right.
try this again.
Take 2.
Well, take 1.
Take 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay. On the ladder. Here we go.
Which way are you going?
Usual, left to right.
Okay.
All right. Let's go.
It's now or never. Mama.
It cut. I felt it cut. Come on, give me brakes. Yeah, it cut, but it was smooth.
It was smooth. Why did it cut?
I might be geared up too high.
Mm.
I'm also running without the perfect pass because my perfect pass just died. So I'm doing this all absolutely manually. Yeah, that's probably gonna give me the yeah, that's overload. But that's overload for all the expected reasons, not because the pinion shaft came loose. I didn't hear any of that weird gear noise that I heard last time. Motor 120, 120, 123. This one's a little bit cooler. I wonder why. 103, 115. And it's about 10 degrees cooler. ESC 116, 120. And about 120.
That's stopping.
Yeah, that's fine. Plugs are warm. 126. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. All right, cool. Now I actually think we could get more speed by gearing down because this thing cut. It cut for high amps. So if we take our pinions and bring them down a size, I suspect we might even be able to get a little bit of speed. So let's try that.
126 is not speed for you?
Oh, 126 is plenty, but I mean, this car's gone 140. I've been chasing that ever since. Did it once and haven't been able to do it twice. Although that was a completely different setup. It was a big single with proper batteries. These are Spectrum batteries. They're not SMCs or anything fancy like that. So there it goes. Easier that time. Yeah, I'll just spin it up to speed, hit it with a Dremel or maybe just some sandpaper, file off those edges. Anyway, let's set our mesh. Now that we got our gear in place, there's our motor adjuster. With a dual motor build, you set mesh one at a time, obviously. So this thing just slide over a little. There we go. All right, and then what you do to set the other mesh so that it doesn't get confusing with the second gear is you take the first gear that you just meshed, take it off, put it on your other motor, then you set mesh just like it was a single motor. So we are dropping 5 teeth, going from 34 to 29. Those just happen to be the gears that I have. I should probably only be dropping 1 tooth at a time, but that necessitates having an obscene amount of gears. And I have a lot of gears, but I have a lot of gears for different cars, not just specifically this one. So as for the amount of gears I have for this car, it's really not that many. I might only have like total, including spur gears, I don't know, 7 or 8 gears for this car. It's not very many. And of course, you want to make sure to match them. It's a great way to blow up your electronics if you run 2 motors and 2 different pinning gears of different tooth counts. These are both 29s. Line them up. Just like the last gear set, make sure the grub screws on the flat spot face the same direction. They're timed. They're a little warm, but I think we could probably squeeze in one more pass. This tape is actually deliberately pathetic. It's Dollar Tree tape, literally from actual Dollar Tree, $1.25 tree, because it's not as strong, and that's a deliberate choice. I prefer it to be weaker because it'll give when it needs to.
It doesn't leave that sticky residue.
It doesn't leave the sticky residue behind, and it's easy to tear. So that was a deliberate choice. So only problem is that one roll lasts maybe, I don't know, a dozen passes, which isn't very many. So I'm always having to buy tape. But it's cheap, so no biggie. right off the bat, it's already a lot smoother, and that's to be expected. When you go down on gearing, it makes low speed response way more smooth.
Come on, 130.
130, I want to see 130. We're just there. I think the fastest we've seen on the 2-motor setup is 129.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Still clear. That seems fucking fast. Whoa, what the fuck is that? That seems fucking fast. Whoa, what the fuck is that?
Those were those wild turkeys, I'm telling you.
I just saw some.
Wow, that could have been bad. Oh my God.
Did you see it run so quick?
But
Early Thanksgiving?
early Thanksgiving, that's right.
Take it off the road, babe.
Oh, Jesus.
Was that full throttle, by the way?
Yeah, I was at full throttle before it passed us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look
I did have to manage
at
steering a
the
little bit.
tape on the bottom.
Yeah, look at that. That's what happens when you hit the brakes real hard.
Yeah, because you didn't want to take out the turkey.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
I think that turkey.
It was a
Why?
It was a combination of managing steering a bunch right around that light pole, because that light pole is out for me. It's out to get me. So I was managing steering a bunch, and then once I saw that turkey run out, I was like, "Oh, full brakes all the way!" And I'm like doing one of this,
I saw
ruddering.
it, yeah.
I'm ruddering like a plane, right? Oh, Jesus.
What was it?
All right, go ahead.
Should I push stop?
Yeah, stop, and then
Don't
read.
look.
Not looking. Not looking. Still not looking.
129.
God damn it!
We would have got it if that turkey.
God damn it! Oh man! And what was I just saying? I was literally just saying. Yeah, 129 is the highest. Yeah. 129 is the highest on this configuration. Yes.
Damn turkey.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I think it's in the middle of the road.
No, they're just hanging out. They're just hanging out. One is way far out, and I was like, I'm not going that far. And then I saw
And
one
look,
pop
they're
out.
right there.
Yeah,
right in
and then
the
I saw
middle.
one pop out like way closer, right? So I was like, oh boy. All right.
For the video.
So we did gain speed. So I proved a point. So the whole turkey thing notwithstanding, we still went faster. What was the pass before this? It was 126.
It was 126.
126.
Yep.
So we gained 3 miles an hour gearing down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And what is like the very beginning basic RC thing for most people? It is, you know, you
Gearing
get into
up.
RC, I want my car to go faster. What do? Put a big pinion on it. Duh. It's like the basics. That only goes so far, and right around 120, 130 miles an hour, at least in my experience with this car, gearing up slows you down because it pulls more load. And when you pull more load on the batteries, what does that mean? Voltage drops down farther. When you have less available voltage, the motor spins slower, right? So if the motor's spinning slower, obviously the wheels are going to be spinning slower. So what does that mean for this car? Bigger motors, bigger batteries. I mean, frankly, that's really all it is. I'd probably just start with better batteries. Again, these are very, very, very tired Spectrum batteries. They're nothing fancy. And this thing will fit enormous batteries. So eventually I will get some SMC packs and we'll go from there. I'm calling it, fuck it. I'm calling it 130. We've seen 129 twice in a row. Row-ish. I'm calling it 130. Of course, that's still 10 mile an hour slower than what we've seen before. But again, that was with a big single with the XLX2 and the 20 series. But in any case, we proved a point. The point is, gearing up doesn't always make you faster. Once you start getting into the speed run world, gearing up gives you the exact opposite sometimes. And that is a learning thing. You can learn from that. If you gear up and it slows you down, your weak point has to be either the ESC or the batteries, because the motor can do whatever you ask the motor to do up until the point that it doesn't want to do motor things, AKA explodes, throws a rotor magnet, melts the windings, right? My heart's still pounding from almost taking out a fucking wild turkey.
Pushing in.
All right, okay, bye. So looking at the logs, and I can show you in a little bit, the logs were telling me that I was getting wheel speed well in excess of 130 miles an hour, you know, judging by the motor RPM at speed and gear reduction and all that stuff. So I had plenty of wheel speed, but the GPS is only logging like 70, 80 miles an hour. So I think it is a grip problem. So what do? We added some aero. I'm gonna aim the camera over here. We fixed a big giant wing here. And unlike the stock Bandit wing, this one has very minimal flex, right? So I'm hoping that this wing setup that I have here, this clever little setup of turnbuckles and rod ends and stuff, I'm hoping that this will help put the power down. So let's fire it up. I got my switch in here. Everything's plugged in. And we have our second phone charging in the car. But we gotta walk over here to engage the GPS. See, yep, we're live. Cool. First run. And let's see what it does. Full throttle, holding, still holding, letting off.
Are you feeling sassy?
This feels rock solid. Oh my God, this might actually be helping. But that felt rock solid. Ooh, cool, we're making progress. We're making progress, 99. Hell yeah, all right, cool. You know what this means? Let it cool down and gear up because I actually started with some small gearing. I normally run 34-29, but this is, 24-29 is normally what I run, 24-29. This is 24-34. So I'm gonna put a smaller spur on, let it cool down, and we're gonna go from there. We're geared up with it, so we're gonna see if we can break at least 100. I wanna see 101. We gotta get the GPS going, so. Oh, we got, there you go. Yep, we are logging. Cool. Let's see what we can do, shall we? Holding. Still holding. All right, let off. I'm only gonna run that one pass because this gearing is real aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Start slowing down.
Yeah, okay. All right, not looking. What do we got?
100.
Really?
No, 101.
Oh, cool. All right.
You said you were done.
All right, yeah, I'm happy. 101. Finally, I've been bitching about this car for the last few days now.
Well, bitch, no more.
Let's talk about what's going on the inside.
Aren't you happy? You reached
I am
both
happy.
of your goals.
I am happy. Well, I want to see 110. Ultimately, the goal with this car is 110. So I can, as far as I know, the fastest Bandit that I've seen, and I could very well be wrong, is like 107, 108, give or take, right? From what I could tell. I could be wrong. If anybody is seeing a faster Bandit, let me know. But at the very least, I want to see 110. So previously we've been running the stacked Gens Ace batteries that you guys have seen. Kind of cumbersome to deal with. It fits and it runs and it works. But I in my collection of batteries, I often forget what I have and don't have. As it turns out, I happen to have this 3200 6S battery that I used to run in one of my boats. I was curious to see if one, it fit, and two, if it would be suitable, right? If it could actually, perform in this configuration. As it turns out, this battery drops less voltage than the 6000 6S setup that I have, which is a little weird. But anyway, come on over here and we will take a look at the logs, and we will take a look to see what sort of motor speeds we are getting, and we can calculate our wheel speed based on our motor speed. With our motor speed and our gear reduction, pinion spur, and the 272 ratio in the transmission itself, the wheel size, right, diameter, then you can calculate how fast the wheel is going, and theoretically, with perfect grip and perfect conditions, how fast the car would have gone. I expect there to be more wheel speed than car actual, like, ground speed, right? Which happens a lot with these two-wheel drive cars. But just with the wing, I think I've gained at least 15 miles an hour just throwing a wing on it. So let's see what happens. Or rather, the opposite might very well be true. With the added downforce, could drag down the motor speed. So we're gonna look at our second pass here because that's our 101 mile an hour. Our first pass was 99. So let's zoom in just a little bit more. So here is where we held full throttle, and we started holding full throttle at about 542 seconds, and then we got off at about 546. So what's that, about 4 seconds full throttle, which is pretty good. At the very beginning of full throttle, we were seeing 19.4 volts at 37,000 RPM, 160 amps. By the way, 160 amps on a little Bandit is hysterical because we were seeing only just 200 on the Infraction, albeit it's got 2 motors and 2 ESCs, but regardless. So back over here, we're seeing 37,000 RPM, low 19 volts, 19.3. Closer on over here, we actually dropped a little bit, which is peculiar. Yeah, normally I expect the voltage to raise back up by the time you get off the trigger, more or less, but it continued going down. So I wonder if maybe that means I could keep going full throttle until the voltage starts to climb back up. But in any case, we were seeing maximum of 37,900 RPM. And I can do the math, but I'm a busy man. But with that 37,000 motor speed, it's a little bit less than the 40,000 I was seeing before the wing. So the downforce is slowing down the motor. That means we have grip. We're gaining grip. So I think this is good. The wing adds grip and it slows down the motor, and that's to be expected. So this is good, and we can work with this. What were our temps like anyway? We peaked at 150. This thing has a lot more in it. Yeah, this thing's not getting very hot at all. The motor temp is colder by about 50 degrees, and the ESC is the one stressing out. So, hell, that could mean we could throw a X8S in here. We'll see what happens.
Did you do anything to this car?
Nope, nothing. I'm just hoping I can stand on full throttle longer. And we'll see with the fresh wheels if that helps. These wheels are pretty tired. They've been crashed a bunch. For anyone wondering, these are XM5 rigid wheel, and these are XM7. Doesn't say anything about the wheel, but it feels like a flex wheel, judging by how I can squeeze them and how they feel. Whatever, I don't know. I can never, it's like buying toothpaste with GRP. You never know what your last one is, and you never know what your next one's gonna be. You know what I mean? Because like no one ever buys the same toothpaste twice. You know what I mean? Because we're all option paralysis. There's so many different options that it's just like, which one do you want?
The cheapest.
The first one you saw. Loading this thing up and getting it prepped is kind of a labor of love.
What are you hoping to see today?
I want to officially see 130. None of this 129 nonsense that we keep seeing.
Imagine if we do.
Yeah, for real. Seriously. Let's transfer the GPS over. God forbid I start a run without transferring the GPS. What do you mean 0 miles an hour? Oh, because it's still on the Bandit.
And that would have probably been your 130 if you didn't put the GPS on.
Yeah, you know, RC gods have it out for me right now. I swear. That was me holding. I was at full throttle
For a
before it passed
long
us.
time, yes, I saw that.
I don't feel like I could have held any longer without running out of radio range.
What do you think you got?
I want to see 130. If it's 129, then I'm going to be a little irritated. Damn, this thing is loud.
No, I want to do it and take it off of the street, babe.
Well, that's fine. Okay, I'm not looking. What do we got? Oh my god! I am so irritated right now. You kidding me? Get out of here! You know what? We have the computer here. We have the computer here. I'm gonna pull up data logs right now. I'm gonna see how long I was holding full.
Are you a little upset?
I'm a little annoyed right now.
What number did you not want to see?
That's so annoying. That is so annoying. All right, and look at these tires. They hardly even broke a sweat. Look, some of the mold release is still there. First pass on these brand new wheels, freshly balanced.
What do you think's holding it back from 130?
This might just be as fast as it can go with these batteries. These batteries might not just aren't doing it. All right, full screen. See this? There's a flat line here. That's where I was holding full throttle. This is how long I was holding full throttle. That entire flat line there. What's that? I hit full throttle at about 166 seconds, and I got off at about 171. What's that? 5 seconds straight full throttle, which, by the way, 5 seconds at 130 feels like an eternity. So amps, 205. That's a bunch. So at the very beginning of full throttle, amps is about 204. Yeah, 204 on the mouse. Motor RPM 33,000, power out 99.9, basically 100. And toward the end of it, like right before I let off, the amps went way down to 150, which is pretty typical, and that allows the voltage to climb back up. So I was at 19.3 volts here, but I was at 18.6 there. So I got a little bit more motor RPM at 37.4. So this is probably where we saw the 129. Since these batteries are fresh and it felt rock solid with these wheels, I'm gonna give it another go after we gear it up. We geared up a little bit. We're gonna let it breathe just like we did last time. We didn't want to show you any of that because you already know how that works. So let's stage it up. I also feel a little bit of a breeze heading that way. So yay, I'm cheating with the help of Mother Nature. Not that it matters. Not breaking any records here. I think I felt it cut a little bit, but I held full throttle for about as long. We reached full throttle before I passed us. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, it cut. Look at that. 136. Finally. Finally. Now we're talking. We just got to let it breathe a little. Okay. All right. All right. Now, let's take a look at the logs, shall we? Of course, we have our data logger USB dongle plugs into our computer for anybody who doesn't understand how data logging works, and indeed how I do it. So I actually just keep this little harness piece here. So I don't have the quick connect and I don't feel like going into my receiver box. So I just take the harness completely out, just like that. What's nice about Castle ESCs is that they allow you to do that, which is cool. And then you just pin this in its place. And then we fire up the computer and check our logs. Yep, download. We didn't delete it from last time, so you see how the green progress bar filled up more? Because we didn't delete the last run's data. In the meantime, look at these wheels. These wheels are holding up beautifully. When did this show up? Nope.
Oh shit.
Probably when I hit the dirt. But these wheels are holding up great. So you just blow up that section here. Maybe a little bit more blown up. There we go. Okay, so I didn't hold full throttle for as long as I thought. We're at 400 and 405. So about 402. So yeah, maybe about a second and a half. But I mean, we still gained 7 miles an hour. So let's take a look at when we hit 100% and we were pulling 213 amps, dropped down to 17.7, 32,000 RPM. And then toward the end of that full throttle, voltage climbed, did it climb at all? 17.7 to, no, voltage still basically remained the same. Although we can see a voltage climb just a little bit here.
Hey, I'll take it.
Right? And then this is when I got off and obviously started hitting the brakes. And this warning here, this hard line, that's when it gave me the threshold where it said rapid temperature increase. So it gave me a temp cutoff because, you know, when you're pulling that many amps for that long, you know, it's gonna get hot. A lot of amps is a lot of heat. That's how the saying goes. Amps is heat. Less amps, less heat, more amps, more heat. You get the idea. I'm happy. I'm putting it away before something chaotic happens. So I'm happy with that.
Successful day.
136. Now all we got to do is stuff in some properly good batteries, and then we'll see 140 with this setup probably.
Yep.